From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
American Door Company has been family-owned and operated for over 29 years, supplying Northern California with quality garage doors, garage door openers, and installed with the best service you'd expect from a locally owned company. We serve all of Northern California from Willows all the way up to the Oregon state line. Give us a call today.
Well, we made it through another Monday. Pat yourself on the back. You did good, all right? We're going to get through this week together. And you know what? We don't have much in the way of rain for the forecast. And you look behind me here, well, we were talking about rain. Well, this is interesting because you think about what we saw on Friday night in particular, right? All that rain, thunderstorms, right? Even on Saturday, there were many of us that saw some of that rain as well. Now, we transitioned because we ended the rainfall season on the 30th of September. And we started a new season. So we're kind of resetting the clock, if you will. So this is how well we did for the season. And there's no secret and there's no surprise that we did really well this year. So you can see in most cases, when we look at these numbers, almost everyone doubled what we saw last season. So last season, 2021 to 2022, last season in Redding at the airport, just under 20 inches. It's only 59% of average. And we were talking about the drought, how terrible it was, the lakes were low. It was just not looking good, right? But then we saw this amazing winter, record-breaking winter for the Sierra with the snow and, of course, the rain that we saw here in the North State, in the North Coast. There it is. That's the result of it, 122% for the season, double what we saw last season. Same situation for Red Bluff, double what we saw last season, 27.53, puts us at 119% for the season. Eureka, not quite double, but at least we were better than last year, 42.73. Now, it's interesting, you look at Crescent City, and actually it was below normal for the season at 93%, but that's still quite good. We'll take 53.66 any day. The normal is almost 58 inches. We take a look at Mount Shasta, and look at that. There you can see, of course, last season, 57%, 21.3 inches of rain. We more than doubled that here this season, 122% of average. And how about Alturas? Yeah, we doubled it. We doubled it from last season, 73%. This season, 151% of average for the season. So this is great. Now, as we go down the pike, a lot of you might be asking, well, how are we going to do next season? How are we going to do this season, right? Well, you may have been hearing about over the last month or so, little rumors and hints about an El Nino year, this winter, right? Now, if projections continue to go as they are, it could potentially mean potential for a wetter than normal winter for us. Now, is that guaranteed? Absolutely not. We're still a ways out. A lot can happen between now and winter. But historically speaking, when we have strong to very strong El Ninos in our area here in Northern California, the chances of us seeing an above normal rainfall skyrocket. When we see moderate to weak El Ninos, it doesn't really mean much. In fact, historically speaking, we typically see below normal rainfall for that season. So we can only hope for our sake that we have a strong to a very strong El Nino, because then that would mean 2 years, 2 seasons in a row where we see above normal rainfall. That would be fantastic. All right, so here's the deal. You may have noticed yesterday and today that it was a little breezy for some of us in the valley. I'm expecting more north breezes over the next few days. No major wind events, but just something we need to keep an eye on. We'll talk about them in more detail in a second. We do have a warming trend this week with temperatures in the 90s for some of the warmer spots later this week. All right, so we'll take a look at the winds. And again, I just want to illustrate nothing major, nothing I'm terribly concerned about. Here's 4 o'clock on Tuesday. You see how we're at about 10, 15, 20 miles per hour. Nothing major, right? Now we're going to go into Wednesday morning, and you can see, yeah, it gets a little breezy, gusty here for the foothills, even for parts of the valley. But again, nothing major. We're not looking at a major wind event. Now we're going to take you into Wednesday around noon. See how, especially on the west side of the valley, we're seeing those winds a little bit here. And then Wednesday afternoon, still a little breezy in some spots here. Now, what I want to talk about, what I want to illustrate with this is that when you have a consistent north wind, and especially when it's a tad breezy out there, you can dry things out, despite the fact that we did see a decent amount of rainfall over the weekend, and not to mention cooler temperatures. But when we warm things up and we get that north wind in, that can quickly dry things out around here. So I wanted to show you the fire weather risks as we kind of go into this chances for high fire danger. Here's tomorrow. Nothing concerned about. We're starting to see just a little yellow pop up right around in here. That's nothing to be concerned about. But when we have to kind of raise our eyebrows and go, oh, you know, we might have to kind of be a little concerned about this, because now we're kind of in that mid-range. We're between low and extreme. And the fire danger is certainly going to be elevated. Let's just put it that way. Because if the winds are strong enough, we got dry conditions out there and the temperatures are warming up, it's kind of the right ingredients for that higher fire danger. So we're going to have to kind of look out for that over the next few days. In the meantime, the clouds we saw today, they're moving on out. I do expect to see through the evening hours a chance for some showers around Siskiyou County, and not to mention Modoc. And that could linger on into tomorrow morning. In fact, we're going to take you to about 8 a.m. on Tuesday. You see how we're seeing some clouds and some lingering light showers. Still some clouds for the mountains, but clearing out for the valley. Take you through the afternoon. Those clouds are clearing out for the higher elevations. And Wednesday, sunny skies across the board. Again, this is kind of an indication of that warming trend because it's dry for Thursday through this upcoming weekend. Now, I want to show you this line because this is a standard storm that we see the heavier rainfall to our north. We get the tail end of that cold front and it pretty much fizzles out. The coast may see some rain by around Monday of next week, but by the time that passes the coast, hits the coastal range, the Trinity Alps, it just breaks apart and we just don't see much rainfall out of it. So we'll have to kind of wait and see if even the coast sees any rainfall out of it. But there's that warmer air. It's scooting that cooler air out back off into Canada. We got warmer air moving in for the end of the week, this upcoming weekend. But there's that next shot of cooler air along with that cold front producing the potential for that rain. But we're also getting that time of the year where you get these cold storm systems coming in. They just don't have a lot of moisture to work with. And that's why we typically won't see a lot of rainfall with these weaker systems that do pass on through. The wave heights, yeah, they're going to be increasing again here for tomorrow. So if you do need to be on a boat, be aware of the fact that you're getting some pretty high wave heights out there, about 10 to 12 feet. So marine forecast for tomorrow. North winds at 15 to 25 knots. Yeah, the waves from the northwest are 6 feet at 6 seconds and from the northwest at 5 feet at 15 seconds. Now, for the immediate coast, there are no advisories, but again, you saw how high those wave heights are. You just need to use extra caution. All right, here's what it looks like here for tonight. And there, of course, you can see some of the clouds that we will see. Maybe some lingering showers for Modoc and not to mention Siskiyou County. But tomorrow, it's warming up. We're back in the mid-80s for the valley and looks like in the 60s and 70s for the higher elevations. Although places like Trinity County, Weaverville, Hayfork, low 80s, mid-80s for some of the inland areas of the north coast, and mid-60s for the coast itself. All right, so here's your 7-day outlook. Across the board, everyone's going to see a warming trend. Across the board, it's going to be fairly dry through at least this weekend. I think everyone, for the most part, will be dry through the weekend, but especially in the valley. It'll be even into early next week. But you see how we're back in the low 90s by especially Thursday, Friday, and even quite possibly Saturday. And looking at your 7-day outlook for the north coast, now I haven't put the rain in there for the coast just yet for Monday. You saw that on Futurecast. I'll wait for a little bit more consistency before I actually set that in stone. But overall, even warming up for the coast, low 70s by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Inland in the low 90s by Thursday. Weaverville, Trinity County in general in the mid to upper 80s.